Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk?
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Jenna Takenouchi. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
Please stay seated. Sorry. So I've watched a lot of these over the years, and even though my predecessor used to offer me his invocation day before he learned the guitar, I never took him up on it because I didn't think I had anything really worthwhile to say, and maybe now that I have to do this, I might still not. But I'll just leave you all with what I kind of think of as my mantra in this building to help me get through everything, and that's, it's session. It'll work itself out. I start thinking about this in October, November while we're slogging through resumes and frenzy of bill introduction through the hours-long committee meetings and the inevitable death of bills and resolutions. And even if everything doesn't turn out how I want it or we want it, we learn from things, we have the discussions, we grow, and we come back again. So now that I'm sitting on the other side of the table and the conversations in this building, I've had to relearn a lot of things, and I found I've had to come back and remind myself of this mantra as well, to remember that this is the essence of this time of year, and I'm just grateful to really always be a part of what it means to be in this building and part of the good work that we all do for the people of Hawaii, even when things can and do go awry. So as we start this week and our last full month of session, this is just a reminder for anyone else out there who needs to hear it. Don't worry, it's session and it'll work itself out.
Thank you, Representative Takenouchi. Item 1, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ayu, Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin,
Excuse.
Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Gates, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt, Ms. Hussey Burdick, Ms. Ichiyama, Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella, Mr. Kila, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosal,
Excuse.
Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Ms. Martinez, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima,
Excuse.
Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poepoe, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Saiki, Mr. Sayama, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takayama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 48 members are present, 3 are excused.
Mr. Clerk, please mark the presence of Representative Nakashima. Item 2, reading of the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the Governor?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we're in receipt of Governor's message numbers 1104 through 1110, informing the House that the noted House bills were signed into law on March 31st, 2023, and designated as Acts 4 through 10. May these matters be received and filed.
So ordered. Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we're in receipt of communications transmitting the noted Senate concurrent resolutions, all having been adopted in the Senate. We are in further receipt of a communication returning the noted House bill having passed third reading in the Senate.
Members, are there any introductions? Representative Takenouchi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to take a moment to recognize my office manager, Kelton Cheney, his fiancee Katie, and members of his family. They're here joining us. They're in town for Kelton and Katie's wedding this week. So he's been a great help for me. So if I could just have them be recognized, enter their names into the journal, and if we could all give them a warm welcome to the House of Representatives.
So ordered. Representative Nakamura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning, I'd like to introduce to you the dynamic duo from HSTA Hawai'i chapter, Sharon Nipman, and Sarah Tochiki. Can you please stand? Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Members.
Mr. Speaker,
Oh, Representative Peruso.
I'd like to introduce Jun Shin. If you could please stand and be recognized, and welcome to your House of Representatives.
With no further introductions, the chair will call a recess. Recess. Will the House come to order? Item 5, unfinished business. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend the rules of the House in order to consider certain Senate bills for third reading by consent calendar.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, I want to make an announcement. On page 5, SB 47 HD1 will be deferred one legislative day. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move, with the exception of SB 47 HD1, I move to adopt the Standing Committee reports as listed on pages 2 through 10, and that the Senate bills listed on pages 2 through 10, as may be amended, pass third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussions on SB 105, SB 933, SB 1267, next page, SB 739, SB 911, SB 1079, SB 372, next page, SB 926. Representative Ward.
Speaker, I rise on 926, jaywalking.
Proceed.
In opposition, of course, as I have consistently been in the past speaking on this. I just want to recall for the members that we had a Safe Streets rally here about a week or so, 10 days ago. And we all said, hey, we got to make our streets safer. The McKinley High School student who died, and being in the crosswalk, the car didn't pay any attention to the truck, etc. So what we've got here, Mr. Speaker, is safe streets on the one hand, and then we got jaywalking on the other hand. Here's the bottom line. 1/3 of all the fatalities are in the crosswalks or bicycles. The problem is many people in the crosswalks think that this is their right, which legally it is their right. What we are doing with this bill is saying, hey, you're a jaywalker, you have a right now to go anywhere you want. And the point is we're having people with the right who are arrogantly crossing the street. Now we're going to allow these same people with a, quote, a jaywalking right, and we're going to say that this is going to have safe streets. Are we talking out of both sides of our mouth, Mr. Speaker? I think so with this bill. Thank you.
Representative Matayoshi.
Reservations, brief comment.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I am concerned about this bill. It seems to be placing the burden on the drivers still when pedestrians are choosing to disregard the statewide traffic code. I don't necessarily have an issue with them doing it in using reason and their own judgment when doing this, but if there is an accident, I feel like we're placing too much of a burden on the drivers.
Representative Chun.
Reservations, please.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Representative Kila.
Mr. Speaker, in opposition,
Proceed.
I appreciate the intent of the measure, and I understand that historically jaywalking may be rooted in some form of issue of targeting folks. But the way that this bill is written and what it can ensue, I cannot support. I think about the roadways that exist here in Hawaii that are not similar to downtown urban Honolulu. In District 44, our main roadway is considered a highway that folks often traverse, but in the sense when we have dilapidated roads, we do not have proper lighting as well on some of these roads. I echo the previous speaker that I feel too much burden may be placed upon the driver when we already exercise caution with many drivers on top of the road and dealing with folks who cannot use fair judgment in regards to crossing a road. So for those reasons, I'm in opposition.
Representative Souza.
No vote, Mr. Speaker, and I echo the sentiment of the previous two speakers and would also like to reiterate that the traffic code is in place for a reason. And although I can understand the freedom of walking concept and the convenience that this bill would offer pedestrians, I have to vote no on this measure. Thank you.
Members, we're going to move on to SB 141. SB 19, SB 228, next page, SB 1541, SB 1189, SB 671. Representative Ward,
Speaker, I rise in strong support.
proceed.
Mr. Speaker, this bill will legalize fentanyl strips, heretofore drug paraphernalia. First, I want to thank the good representative from District 27 who introduced a similar bill. Unfortunately, it didn't pass, but this one is still alive that comes from the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the bottom line is 18 to 45-year-olds have as the cause of leading death fentanyl. 18 to 45. In the prime of their youth, fentanyl is the biggest killer. If we legalize these test strips, we have a chance of at least keeping some people alive, Mr. Speaker, and that's what this bill is all about. If we have this in lungs and CVS, because it's immediately effective upon approval, we will save some lives. This is a very serious, a very good bill, and something that I hope the 18 to 45-year-olds will be very, very cognizant of. Thank you.
Representative Kahaloa,
In strong support, and may I adopt the words from the representative from Hawai'i Kai?
so ordered. Representative Lamasau,
Same request, Chair.
so ordered. Members, let's move on to the next page. SB 1493, SB 203, SB 214, SB 210. Next page. SB 869. Next is Stancom Report 1636, 1637, 1638, 1639. Next page. 1640, Representative Pyrick.
No, please.
So ordered. 1791, 1792, 1793, 1794. Next page. 1795, 1861, 1862, 1863, 1864. Next page. 1865, 1866, 1867. Representative Hussey Burdick.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. 1868. Representative Kong.
No vote. Permission for written comments to the journal.
So ordered.
Thank you, Speaker.
Representative Pyrick.
No, please.
So ordered. 1869. Representative Morikawa for the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the measures before us, all majority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On page 2, SB number 105 HD1, Stancom report number 1611, Rep. Amato votes no. On page 4, SB number 926 SD1 HD1, Stancom report number 1618, the following vote no. Ayu, Gates, Holt, Kila, Lamasau, Poi Poi, Quinlan, Tam. On SB number 19 HD1, Stancom report number 1620, the following vote no. Gates, Holt, Kahaloa, Lamasau, Quinlan. On page 5, SB number 1189 SD1 HD1, Kong, on Stancom report number 1623, Kong votes no. On page 9, Stancom report number 1863, SB number 415, SD2 HD2, Rep. Kong votes no. On page 10, Stancom report number 1867, SB number 1468, SD2 HD2, Representative Amato votes no. StanCom Report Number 1868, SB Number 1057, SD2 HD2, Representative Kong votes no. Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the measures before us, all minority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On page 3, SCR 1615, Senate Bill 911, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Rep. Pyrrhic votes no. Page 3, SCR 1617, Senate Bill 372, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Reps. Alcos, Garcia, Matsumoto, Pyrrhic, and Ward vote no. Page 4, SCR 1618, SB 926, SD1, HD1, Reps. Alcos, Garcia, Matsumoto, Souza, and Ward vote no. Page 4, SCR 1620, SB 19, House Draft 1, Rep. Pyrrhic votes no. Page 7, SCR 1638, SB 1505, SD2, HD2, Rep. Pyrrhic votes no. SCR 1639, Senate Bill 989, House Draft 2, Rep. Pyrrhic votes no. Page 8, SCR 1640, SB 45, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 2, Reps. Alcos, Garcia, Matsumoto, Pyrrhic, and Ward vote no. Page 10, SCR 1868, SB 1057, SD2, HD2, Reps. Garcia and Pyrrhic vote no.
Have all votes been cast? Said Senate bills pass third reading. Item 6, reports of standing committees. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Reports numbers 1870 and 1871 as listed on page 11, and that the accompanying Senate bills as amended pass second reading and be placed on the calendar for third reading.
Representative Markawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on StanCom Report 1870? 1871. Representative Hasibardik.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Representative Lowen.
No vote, please, and brief comment.
Proceed.
This bill is purporting to, presumably address a problem that has never had a complaint lodged about it. Mergers and acquisitions are relatively rare, and they take time to ensure that things are done right and in the public interest. And so, it hasn't been clear throughout session where this bill is coming from, but yeah, I have concerns with it.
Representative Poi Poi.
Reservations.
So ordered. Representative Peruso.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Capella.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Martin.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Amato.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Ganadin.
Same request.
So ordered. The chair will call a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Reports numbers 1872 through 1879 as listed on pages 11 through 13, and that the accompanying Senate bills pass third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on StanCom Report 1872? 1873. Next page. 1874. 1875. 1876. Representative Ward.
Speaker, I rise in strong opposition.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, as you know, this is probably my favorite bill to speak against this session. So let me proceed. But, Mr. Speaker, in the event that I'm not able to finish my speech, I know that you know that I've looked at Robert's rules, Mason's rules, House rules. There's nothing that says when a member of the legislature gives a speech that you can suddenly extract it from the journal. So if I may proceed, I would wish that you would follow the rules in that regard, not as you did last week. The point is, Mr. Speaker, we all represent about 30,000 individuals. Our districts are 28 to 30,000. We're all equal in that sense. The rub here, Mr. Speaker, is that this particular bill rubs up against a particular senator and a particular representative on this floor that says that we shall override where the placement of the buildings are that we gave to OHA in lieu of the $200 million that we owed them. I want to bring to the members' attention that there may be 1,000, maybe a few hundred whose view may be blocked by this particular Kakakumakai by OHA. But I would remind the members that there are 250,000 Hawaiians in Hawaii, and there are over 250,000 Hawaiians on the mainland. So it's a few hundred or 1,000 versus 500,000 people, of which OHA was created for their benefit. They are the benefactors of OHA. So if we don't allow them to build, we are in effect denying, as we did, and I know it's controversial, but I'm going to equate this to the Mon Apr. It's not about whether you build or not, it's whether you can tell the Hawaiians what to do and what to not to do, Mr. Speaker. This bill is unfair, unjust, and it's another way of cheating the Hawaiians out of their land. Thank you.
Point of order.
Representative Nakamura.
The speech is over.
Hold on, Representative
Recess,
Ward.
please.
Decorum. Members, the chair will call a recess. Will the House come to order? Representative Nakamura, your point of order.
Mr. Speaker, we ask that the words unfair and unjust be stricken from the record, and that any violations of Rule 27 be looked at and then shared with the minority leader.
The ruling will be what Representative Nakamura mentioned. Unfair and unjust will be stricken out, and we will also strike out any violations on Rule 27. Representative Ward, let me just finish before you start. And we will also strike out all the remarks that you mentioned before you started your speech that referred to the chair violating any rules. Go ahead, Representative Ward.
Speaker, point of personal privilege. I agree that if we want to take out unfair, we want to take out unjust, even though that is in fact the truth, the reality, for the sake of expungement, fine. But I would like to, as a reciprocal request, show me in the House rules, Robert's rules, and Mason's rules, where any speaker, anybody of any position of leadership can say, your speech is not in agreement with me and therefore it should be struck. We're edging on this cancel culture phenomenon. When I'm a duly elected representative, you are all elected by the same amount of people.
Point of privilege.
And I'm thinking we're stretching ourselves by the leadership positions of power, of which otherwise are
Representative
not fair.
Ward.
Let's be fair.
I
My
heard
point
your
is,
point of
let's be
privilege.
fair. Strike out unfair, strike out unjust, but let's be fair, the way that you treat the minority as well as you treat democracy. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Hold on, Representative Peruso. The chair's ruling stands, and those will be stricken out. Any discussion, Representative Tarnas?
Thank you. Speaking in support of Senate Bill 1417.
Proceed.
Thank you. I just want to bring the attention of the members back to the purpose of the bill, which is actually to do what any good planner would suggest to their client, and that is that the Hawaii Community Development Authority must consider the impacts of climate change, sea level rise, and climate resilient development in the design and siting of buildings. HCDA has 4 different community development districts. These are the 2 that would actually are close enough to the coast that it would have potential impacts from sea level rise and climate change. And so this is not so restrictive other than it is good advice to HCDA as they make their plans for use of these areas. And as a planner, like I say, this is good advice that any good planner would give to their client. So I think that it's a measure that deserves support from the members. Thanks very much.
Representative Peruso?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask that you strike the words cancel culture from the remarks of the representative from Hawai'i.
So ordered. Representative Alcos?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to adopt the words from Hawai'i as my own. Thank you.
So ordered. Representative Ganadin?
Mr. Speaker, in support.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, after the conversation here on the floor, after second reading, I attempted to get some clarification from the Hawaii Community Development Authority in their testimony and the Judiciary Committee. They noted that, of course, if we were to pass this, they would just develop implementation rules. Also, we asked if there was any objection from the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. They did not offer testimony on this measure. I think that the discussion brought up by the gentleman from District 18 is separate from the ideals encapsulated in this measure. Thank you.
Representative Tam?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, in support. I just want to have the words from the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Chair inserted into the journal as if they're my own.
Members, Representative Souza, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same request, and I will add as well that, you know, if we don't take this into consideration and what this bill purports, then I don't know what the alternative would be, that we just don't consider climate impact on these two development areas out of the four, and we end up with more problems in the long run with erosion and all the different issues that we're currently experiencing on our shoreline properties right now. So thank you.
Representative Nakamura.
Thank you. Same request. I'd like to ask for the words of the Judiciary Chair and previous speakers be entered into the journal as my own.
So ordered.
As a planner, I also feel that many state organizations, departments are looking at the impacts of sea level rise and climate change. The Department of Transportation has done their plan. We're working with the libraries because some of our libraries are going to be falling into the ocean soon, especially in my district. So we are doing managed retreat planning. This is, I think, incumbent on all of our state departments and agencies to be proactive, to look at ways that we can take today rather than have to deal with the issues that we are experiencing on some of the north shores of our islands. To address with the impacts of climate change when it's really too late. Thank you.
Representative Souza for a second time.
Just a point of personal privilege, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
I'd like to request that the words from the representative from Hawai'i Kai be stricken from the record in reference to the unfair treatment of minority members. He can speak for himself, but I don't feel that way. Thank you.
So ordered. All right, members, we're going to move on. Representative Pierik.
In opposition.
Proceed.
I'd like to have all the words of representative from Hawai'i Kai added to the journal as if they were my own, including all the things that have been trying to be censored.
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
The term censored should be stricken from the record. It violates Rule 27.
Recess.
Members, the chair will call a recess. Will the House come to order? Representative Pierik, you had a request. Could you please state your request?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In opposition.
And proceed.
I would like to have all the words that were used by the representative from Hawai'i Kai adopted as if they were my own, and to use a synonym for censored stricken from the journal.
The ruling of the chair is to not approve your request. I will only...
Point of order. Recess.
What's your point of order?
Calling for a recess.
Members, the chair will call for a recess. Will the House come to order? Let's try this again. Representative Pierrick.
Mr. Speaker, in opposition,
Proceed.
may the words of the representative from Hawaii Kai be all adopted into the journal as if they were my own, including all the words that were censored or, to use a synonym, stricken from the journal.
Representative Pierrick, the chair's ruling is that Representative Ward falls under his remarks. Any violation of Rule 27 will be stricken out. And any remarks that you are adopting into the journal as your own, any of those remarks that have been violated by Rule 27 will not be in there. All right, members? 1876. Any further discussions? Moving on to 1877. Next page. 1878. 1879. Representative Morikawa for the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the measures before us, all majority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On page 11, STANCOM report number 1872, SB number 921, Rep. Kong votes no. Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the measures before us, all minority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On SCR 1876, Senate Bill 1417, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Reps. Alcos, Garcia, Pierrick, and Ward vote no.
Have all votes been cast? Said Senate bills pass third reading. Members, Please note the 48-hour notice for HSCR 1880 through 1890 as listed on pages 13 through 15. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Reports numbers 1891 through 1912 as listed on pages 16 through 21, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions as may be amended be adopted.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on Standcom Report 1891 and 1892 in tandem? 1893 and 1894 in tandem? Next page. 1895 and 1896 in tandem? 1897 and 1898 in tandem? Next page. 1899 and 1900 in tandem. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pirik.
No, please.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
Oh, no, please. Thank you.
So ordered. Representative Quinlan.
No vote.
So ordered. What? Representative Matsumoto.
Same request.
So ordered. Representative Alcos.
No vote.
So ordered. All right, we're going to move on to Standcom Report 1901 and 1902 in tandem. Representative Pirik.
No, please.
So ordered. Next page. 1903 and 1904. Representative Souza.
Request for ruling on a potential conflict. Mr.
Say your
Speaker.
conflict.
My cousin is the chair of the Oversight Commission, and this bill pertains to them.
No conflict. Ruling stands till sin die unless your circumstances changes.
Thank you.
Moving to 1905 and next page 1906 in tandem. 1907 and 1908 in tandem. Next page. 1909 and 1910 in tandem. 1911 and 1912 in tandem. The chair will call a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Item 7, third reading. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Senate bills listed on pages 22 and 23 pass third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on SB 109? Representative Pirik.
No, please.
So ordered. SB 110, SB 497, SB 224, next page, SB 587, SB 586. Representative Chung.
Reservations.
So ordered.
Thank you. Same
Representative
request.
Ayu. So ordered. Moving to SB 586, which is the last one. All right, members. Representative Morikawa for the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the measures before us, all majority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On page 22, SB number 224, SD2HD1, Standcom Report number 1787, Rep. Kila votes no. On page 23, SB number 587, SD2HD1, Standcom Report number 1788, the following vote no. Ayu, Chun, Ganaden, Gates, Hashem, Holt, Capella, Kila, La Chica, Lamasao, Peruso, Poi Poi. SB number 586, SD2HD1, Standcom Report number 1860, the following vote no. Ganaden, Gates, Hashem, Holt, Capella, Kila, La Chica, Lamosal, Peruso, Poi Poi. Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the measures before us, all minority members vote aye with the exception of the following. On SCR 1784, Senate Bill 109, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Reps. Alcos, Garcia, Matsumoto, Perrick, and Ward vote no. SCR 1785, SB 110, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 1, Reps. Garcia and Ward vote no. Page 23, SCR 1788, SB 587, Senate Draft 2, House Draft 1, Reps. Garcia and Souza vote no.
Have all votes been cast? Said Senate bills pass third reading. Item 8, announcements. Representative Lowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow is Ocean Tourism and Awareness Day at the Capitol, and the organizers will have tables set up in the rotunda from 10 to 2. They're reminding everyone to wear blue, and there will be a program of speakers after session from 1 to 2 that everyone's invited to come and participate and watch.
No further. Representative Matsumoto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder that this week is the Women's Legislative Caucus Easter Basket Week. It's going to be happening on Wednesday, and we'll also be able to see who our Easter bunny and Easter chick is on that day. Thank you.
Representative Martin.
I'd like to wish the representative from Mo'ili'ili a happy birthday.
All right, with no further announcements, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.